Hello, this is the Midday News. I'm Maricela Kelaton. Prime Minister James Marape has responded to claims made by opposition leader Douglas Tomuriesa regarding the alleged delays in the Bougainville Joint Supervisory Body meeting. Marape said Tomuriesa's claims were unfounded and emphasized that Monday's JSB meeting was postponed to Wednesday at the request of the autonomous Bougainville government.
Prime Minister James Marape has called on the opposition leader Douglas Tomuriesa not to politicize the sensitive issue of Bougainville. Marape made this call after Tomuriesa, in a statement, blasted the government for deferring the joint supervisory body meeting from Monday, May 6, 2024 to Wednesday, May 8, 2024. The Prime Minister said the JSB meeting is on schedule. It was deferred to Wednesday at the request of ABG, as they would wanted to go through some points raised by the Technical Working Committee. However, according to the ABG Minister for Attorney General and Justice and Independence Mission Implementation, Ezekiel Massat, ABG was never consulted in settling the date for deferral of the JSB. However, it was a request by the Prime Minister himself. He further cited instances where Bougainville has not had the benefit of being consulted by the national government, saying it defeated the purpose of the peace agreement and the constitution, which repeatedly urges consultation between the two governments on a wide range of issues. Massad says one example is the appointment of Police Assistant Commissioner Anthony Vagambi Jr. to the Bougainville Police Service, and more recently is the calling of the current JSB meeting, which the minister says was called by the national government without consulting with the ABG. The Prime Minister nevertheless stressed that the national government is more committed than ever before to ensure they progress the 2001 Bougainville Peace Agreement and the constitutional process forward, including the requirements for consultations. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
The Laudato Si Camp 2024 themed Laudato Si Dreamers for a Better World was recently held at the Don Bosco Technological Institute. Organized by the FMA sisters and leaders from the Mary Help of Christians Vocational Education Training Center, the event drew over 200 participants from local schools and Catholic parishes. Focused on promoting environmental sustainability, the camp featured presentations on the 5 principles and green skills, followed by practical activities like organizing waste and recycling. The event successfully empowered young participants to become proactive in environmental stewardship within their communities. The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission Commissioner and CEO Paulus Ein has urged the people to understand that ICCC does not control the prices of all the goods and services in the country. Ein said this perception needs to be corrected. Independent Consumer and Competition Commission Commissioner and CEO Paulus Ein said many people think that ICCC controls the prices of everything. However, he said under the ICCC Act 2002, its main function is to promote competition. He said the price control function was done away with 20 years ago, and ICCC was given the price monitoring powers to monitor shelf prices and check factors affecting price increase. ICCC's main functions now are to promote competition, regulate prices of certain declared goods and services. With the current price surveillance exercise the ICCC is conducting, Ein reiterated that the ICCC had sought government intervention to get extra powers to at least control prices of basic food items like rice, flour, and sugar. This enables ICCC to monitor shelf prices of the basic items to be set within a 10% range and not above that. In the event where the shop owner wants to increase their prices, they have to seek prior approval from ICCC. This exercise now is to check the current shelf price against the base price from last year to ensure prices are within the 10% range. The basic food items ICCC is monitoring its shelf prices are rice, tinned fish, tinned meat, flour, sugar, cooking oil, and others. The Queensland Government has announced a new policy guaranteeing 10 days of reproductive health leave to workers in the sector.
This has been hailed as a nation-leading policy that's really a first for Queensland. It will begin no later than September this year, so all public sector employees will be entitled to reproductive health leave for issues like endometriosis, IVF treatment, vasectomy recovery and even cancer screenings. The Queensland State Government expects that around 265,000 public sector workers right across the state will benefit from this scheme. So 10 days of reproductive health leave will be an annual entitlement and it will be non-cumulative leave, which means these leave days won't really accumulate or be carried over to the next consecutive year. Now, this policy is also going to have the state government contribute superannuation contributions for all 52 weeks of paid and unpaid parental leave as well. The Queensland Premier says that this really is to ensure that no parents have massive gaps when it comes to retirement. It's hoped that the private sector will follow suit with the state government's initiative, like they've done previously on other paid parental leave as well as domestic and family violence leave as well. This announcement, of course, comes on Queensland's Labor Day and is off the back of months of campaigning from the Queensland Council of Unions, who have asked for this proposal to really go ahead to ensure that no workers end up eating into their sick leave.
6 Australian parliamentarians say they were targeted by a hacking group affiliated with the Chinese government back in 2021. Some of the MPs are also angry Australian intelligence agencies didn't warn them at the time, with one senator saying it was staggering they were left in the dark.
Part of IPAC, or the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China. It's essentially a loose global network of MPs who share concerns about China, both what's happening within China and also its behaviour abroad. Now, this wasn't targeted at Australian MPs alone. This was part of a broader attempt by the Chinese government through its intelligence agencies to gather information about all global members, or many global members of IPAC across a whole range of countries, including in Europe, the US, here in Australia, as well as in Asia. So it wasn't specifically about Australia, but it was still hoovering up Australian MPs, including these 6, 4 coalition parliamentarians, 2 Labor parliamentarians who were targeted at the time. Now, what was China trying to achieve? Well, according to analysts who've taken a look at this, according to the information released by a US indictment, essentially it was an attempt to gather information. It was a fairly crude attempt at trying to work out what their patterns of behaviour were online, probably, at least according to experts, to try and form a template that they could then use for more sophisticated hacking attempts down the line. So this is something that's obviously caught quite a lot of attention. It's only come to light now, these specific details, because indictments have been unsealed in the United States. Even though the Australian government did know about it at the time, these MPs have only learnt the full details about exactly what happened to them back in 2021 because these indictments were unsealed, and some of them are not happy about that.
And why are some of the parliamentarians so frustrated that they weren't briefed at the time?
Well, the argument from some of these parliamentarians is that it was really incumbent on intelligence agencies, whether that's ASIO or the ASD, the Australian Signals Directorate, to actually inform them that they were specifically targeted. Now, it's not yet 100% clear why they weren't briefed. We're still waiting on a statement from ASD. We anticipate we might see something later today. The broad explanation, according to one of the MPs who we've spoken to, was that the intelligence agencies said that this was a pretty crude and unsuccessful attempt. There were already plenty of warnings that were circulating out there, and that there was no pressing need to brief them. That seems to be the rationale. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the agencies have to say. But some MPs are really unhappy about this. One of those senators, Claire Chandler, a Liberal, says it's staggering they were kept in the dark. And it sounds like now the agencies have agreed that at least in future, if Australian MPs are specifically targeted in this way, they will, or they've made commitments that they will brief them in the future. So that seems to be a slight shift in the way things operated back in 2021 to the way they're going to operate from now on.
In sports, captain of the Wampna Mount Hagen Eagles, Levi Andrew, is facing up to 10 weeks ban after being charged with 2 separate Grade 3 contrary conduct charges from the match review committee. This decision comes after a full review by the PNG NRLC of the Round 4 Digital ExxonMobil Cup match between the Mount Hagen Eagles and Gas Resources Central Dabaris in Minj on Saturday. The match referee Bonnie Bean has also been penalized. The PNG NRLC admitted that the referee was incorrect in changing his decision late in the match. The referee originally sent Eagles captain Andrew into the sin bin for swearing at him. Andrew refused to leave the field. After almost 2-minute delay, the referee decided to place the player on report and continue the game with Andrew remaining on the field. The match ended in an 18-all draw. The 15 million kina sponsorship to PNG Rugby Football League by Kumul Minerals Holdings announced on Friday, May 3rd in Port Moresby is a major boost for rugby league in the country for both men and women. For women particularly, the money will boost the proposed Women's National Rugby League competition that is set to commence in August this year.
When Kumul Minerals Holdings Limited or KMHL announced its partnership with PNG Rugby Football League on Friday. Chairman of KMHL Dr. Ilatemu was pleased to be part of the sponsors along with Digicel PNG and ExxonMobil to elevate the sport to new heights when he committed 15 million kina to the cause, 3 million kina annually for the next 5 years, part of which will go to Women's National Rugby League competition.
We are very happy to be involved in this space, and we look forward to working with the organization in progress in the game of rugby league.
Director of PNG NRLC Lorna McPherson expressed satisfaction having KMHL supporting rugby league, particularly women's competition. She said this could help the sport and its administration as they work to grow and develop the sport in the country.
15 million kina is an awful lot of money, and it shows an awful lot of commitment as well, that belief is there. It's a grassroots, it's the grassroots, it's for the people of Papua New Guinea that the investment's there for. Really, I think it's fabulous. It's exciting for us to have new partners on board. It takes the game to a new league.
Minister for State Enterprise William Duma, who is also a passionate rugby league follower, said this is one of the big investments in sport. He applauds KMHL for their support to PNG's national sport. He added that as a government minister responsible, he honors the partnership given that sports help young people in multiple ways and contributes to the development of the country.
All the companies who are operating in this country, whether they be owned by the government, the SOEs, whether they be owned by private shareholders, ranging from our large resource companies, whose shareholders happen to be dominantly residing overseas, plus all the other companies that are operating in this country, they have a moral obligation to support the national game of rugby league. That is where we're able to keep our youth, both young men and women.
Chief Executive Officer of PNG RFL, Stanley Hondina, expressed that the support is timely as they prepare to launch the Women's National Rugby League competition in August. He said KMHL is among 6 franchises to start the inaugural Women's Rugby League competition, and he is thankful they show support to the cause. The 6 Women's National Rugby League teams to start inaugural competition this August include Mount Hagen Eagles, Gorokalahanis, Ley Tigers, Rabaul Gurias, Port Moresby Vipers, and Central Dabaris. Rex Lita, TV1 Sports.
And that's been the news update. Join us this evening at 6 for more news and sport.